Hi everybody, my name is Mika and you can find me on Instagram at Yes Please Planning. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made every insert that's inside this planner. So I've got some of the materials that I'm going to be using here. I'm using the Planner Society April kit papers, as well as some coordinating solid color scrapbook paper from my stash. Of course, things to cut the paper with. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use a regular stapler or my long arm stapler. So basically, I just went through my paper and notebook stash to find some blank papers that I want to put inside my traveler's notebook to make the actual notebooks. So I have a couple of, I think they're called Rhodia, perhaps Rhodia notepads. They are dot grid. I haven't figured out whether or not they will fit the size that I need, but so I'm going to try these. And then I also have this larger one. I have a few blank sheets that I can use. And so I'll definitely be able to tear these out and then cut them down to the exact size that I need. This is a pretty inexpensive watercolor paper pad from Michael's, the Artist Loft brand. It's 90 pound, and so it's pretty thin. So I should be able to get a few sheets of that inside one of the notebook inserts. This is Canson mixed media paper. It's good for watercolor as well as sticking things on. So I'm not sure how I'll use it or if I'll use it, but I'll just go ahead and try and make one with this. I have this coloring book that I've had for the longest time, and I've only done little bits and pieces of a couple pages. So I figured I could just tear some of these out and cut them down to size. I have just basically copy paper that I'm going to use to cut down to size. I'm going to be making the notebooks A6 size, and basically I'll make them the size of my Hobonichi. So I'm going to try to make them all pretty much the same size as this, just not as thick. So I'm going to start with just the copy paper. Now I don't have a paper trimmer. Well, I do, but it's pretty dull, so I don't want the papers to be all jagged. So I'm just going to use my normal method of a box cutter and straight edge. So I've got a stack of paper here that I have cut to the right height. It's the same height as my Hobonichi. And now I'm going to be folding it over, but I'm not going to fold over to exactly double. I'm going to give it a little bit of extra space, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So let me just take one sheet to practice with. And so basically I'm going to leave a little bit extra, I don't know, half a centimeter, quarter inch or so, and then maybe I'll leave a little bit more, and then I use the edge to kind of crease the paper where, so that'll be where my fold will be. Now you can see there's that crease there, and then I'll fold over from there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to end up trimming this extra off, but I want to get a full set of these first. So let me go ahead and fold the other papers. I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 at a time, but I'm not going to do all of them at one time, just because it kind of, I don't know, the papers don't sit in as well when you fold too many at the same time. Now that I've got all the pages folded, I'm going to trim, I'm going to staple the middle and then trim off the excess. So to do the stapling, I'm just going to make sure these pages are nice and snug in here, and then clip them together. I checked my stapler and it doesn't go back far enough to get the staple in the middle for this size. So there are a couple of things that can be done in this case. I'm going to show you, instead of using my long arm stapler, I'm going to show you what you can do with most staplers. Usually you will be able to pull your stapler kind of apart so that you'll be able to staple anywhere you want. And so you can use like some foam core if you have it, or craft foam underneath your paper to protect your surface. Or I haven't tried this. This is just some cardboard, but I think this might work as well. So I'm going to, I really don't know whether the closed end should be on this side or here. I think I would like the bar part to be out here. So that means I'm going to try to get this down. And I'm going to do 2 staples. I'm just trying to get the little dots here right along the spine. So let's see. Oh, dude, just broke a nail. Okay, I tried it once and it didn't go all the way through. And that's not what I was expecting to happen. And I'm thinking maybe the reason why is because this stapler doesn't open up all the way, and so it's kind of at an angle and I'm not getting full pressure. I'm going to try to do this sort of hanging over the edge of the table to see if that can give me some better force. Basically, I have this part hanging down off the edge of the table so that this part can be completely flat. Okay, I tried this about 10 times. And each time it wasn't working. So I don't know what the special technique is. I tried to do it fast and with a steady hand, and maybe that was the thing that worked, but yeah, I screwed up quite a few times. But this is going to be covered with a pretty paper. So I'm going to carefully lift it up, and this is what's supposed to happen. And so I don't have it directly, it didn't staple directly in the middle, but I'm not going to worry about that. I've never seen it as a problem. And then from here, you just take something and fold those prongs down in on themselves. Like that. And if you want to kind of make sure they don't catch, then just keep playing with it to kind of really get them in there. Alright, let me try the other half now. Okay, again, I had to do it quite a few times for it to go completely flat instead of crimping the staple. And that may be a couple of things. It may be that these are like cheaper staples, just that are not as strong, or more than likely, like the thing that did it for me was doing it fast and doing it with the stapler completely flat instead of at an angle. And the other thing is, how much paper am I using? So this is quite a few sheets of paper, and it's thick paper. So those are all things to consider. Okay, so it lifted up fine. Again, not in the middle, but that's okay for me. And again, I'm just pressing down here to try to make sure the ends are tucked into the paper a bit so I don't end up snagging it on my skin. Okay, from here I'm gonna fold them back over. Press them down a bit. And so if you can see here, it's pretty uneven along the end. this is what I'm going to do to try to give the edges a little bit more of a flush feel, like the top and bottom. I'm going to check the width of my book, and I'm going to cut it at that same width, more or less. And I just changed the blade on my box cutter so that it is super sharp, and that's important, so you'll get some nice clean cuts. If you have one of those circular rotary things, those are nice to work with too. Who knows where mine is? You should be able to get through, cut through a couple of sheets at a time, but don't expect to do it all at once. Just take your time so it'll come out right. So I've got my notebook all the way trimmed. The edge here is pretty smooth from where I cut it. And so now I'm gonna cover it. I could have actually cut the paper, the cover paper, at the same time as I did the inside paper and stapled it with it, but honestly I forgot. And so I'm gonna make the most of it. I actually figured out that this Planner Society paper is 8.5 by 11, and so it turned out to be the perfect size cover for this. Like, it matches perfectly. So all I'm gonna do is trim the top here and attach it that way. So I've got the cover cut, and I messed up a little bit right here. That's not gonna bother me though. And I've seen some people just take decorative paper for their cover and not even attach it and just wrap it around it basically. And then there it is in your traveler's notebook. This is removable tape. I think I probably got this at like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something. They always have a couple of packs of these hanging up. Just attach the first page and not worry about, this little, that's just not gonna bother me. There's one method you can do. And as this process video goes on, I'm going to show you a few different methods. One, because I want you to see there's different ways that you can do things, and then two, because I always just like to try out different stuff and see what I like. Okay, on to the next booklet. For the next booklet, I'm going to use this coloring book, rip out some pages and cut them down to size. I ended up going ahead and ripping out some that actually are specifically vertically oriented, and I don't know, I think what I'll end up doing is just being okay with one side of it the exact size, and then whenever I get to the other page it'll be a smaller size. I mean, I don't care, it's just something to kind of play around with, just to relax, right? So it doesn't have to be super perfect, and I kind of like that random sizing anyway. So I'm gonna start cutting these down, starting with the height. So these will be vertically oriented. I think I'm gonna try it this time, cutting it a little wider on every side and then trimming it on all three of the three sides. Again, I'm using the spine to just crease it. Okay, I lied, sort of. I remembered that my paper trimmer, even though the trimmer is not sharp, it does have this scoring, or like, I guess it's called scoring. It puts an indentation to help you fold better, and it's not at all sharp on the bottom. It just helps you fold the paper, and it puts a nice even crease in there. So I'm going to use this for the remaining papers. And then to get my sizing right, I just put a piece of washi tape here to as my guide, so that every paper will be folded in the same place. I'm gonna make sure everything is as tight into the spine as I can get it. Then clamp it. Then I'm gonna go again and do my stapling. So the last time I used the other stapler and I opened it up, I'm gonna try my long arm stapler. I've had this for a while, but you know, it's one of those toys that you buy and don't really use. Hey, I'm pretty sure I got this from Amazon. There you have it. Still didn't get in the middle. I will call that user error. Anybody wants to tell me the secret to getting it in the middle, or give me a link or something, I'll be happy to listen to it. So I'm going to use my ruler and my box cutter again, and then trim off. I'm going to trim the edges here, here, and here, and see if I can get some nice smooth edges. So I decided I'm going to cover this book with the remainder of this black and white horse pattern that I have. Obviously it's not big enough to fit across, to wrap around the whole book. So I'm going to use some solid paper for the back, and then kind of glue two pieces together. I cut whatever was left of the horse print. I cut it to the right height, and then I cut a rectangle for the back to the right height as well. I didn't cut it so that it covered up the entire back side, because I have enough of the other paper to fold over. And this is the glue that I always use, the Aleene's Tacky Glue. It's just a smaller bottle. So let's get to the third book. I'm going to use this Rhodia dot pad as the pages. You can just tear them out, and they have really light perforations, so they'll come off cleanly. If you fold them in half like a burrito. Are there any teachers out there who say that with their classes, folding it like a burrito and folding it like a taco? Yeah, I'm an ex-elementary school teacher, so fold it like a burrito, and then that way all I have to do is just trim here. Alright, I've got my dot grid paper folded here, and so along the edge, of course, because when you stack all the papers together, it makes them sort of misaligned along the edge, and that's the reason why I've been trimming off the side. So I might do that, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it. I also found that I've had a scrap piece of the same paper that is the right size, so I'm just gonna use this instead of cutting into my full size. Ooh, are these the same size? Ah, they are. Look at that. That's the beautiful thing about the whole A2, A3, A4 sizes. Like when you fold and cut, they all just kind of fit together perfectly. Unlike the American sizes. So I'll be able to use these for another book. Ew, I'm not gonna attach it. Am I gonna attach it? Should I attach it? Ah, I'm not going to attach it. I decided to walk on the wild side and go ahead and attach the cover with the staple. Yeah, pretty much in the middle that time. Another book down. So since I have 6 strands, I'm going to maybe add 2 more books and a folder. Since I already have this cut, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. This is pretty much it's the same, yeah, it's the same size, so I'll just use these. That worked out perfectly. And if you missed it from earlier, this is Rhodia dot pad. It's the one that has the dot grid inside, and the size is number 19, and number 19 is A4. Yay! 4 books down. So I'm gonna make this next one a watercolor, and I'll make this the cover. 9 by 12 inches, 90 pounds, Artist Loft, which is the lowest, you know, kind of the crafters brand when you're just sort of experimenting, trying things out. Artist Loft at Michael's is pretty cheap. I'm sure I got this pad for like $5 or less. 6 sheets, that'll work. That'll give me 12 pages. I'm gonna use this scorer again to make the pages, to fold them easily. I'm making it a little bit wider than the actual booklet is going to end up being. That way I'll be able to trim this little edge off, so that'll be a nice smooth edge. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I don't throw away most of the scraps. I keep them to use as little just little jotters, little notes, or in the case of something like watercolor paper, I would use it as a sampler so I can try out certain colors on it before I commit to my actual page. Okay, I've gone ahead and cut down the larger size to make the cover for the watercolor insert, and I'm not going to attach it. I want to be able to use all the pages, and I really love this paper here, so I'm just going to leave it loose like this to put in the strands. And now we are on to our next booklet. Okay, instead of making more notebooks, I'm going to go ahead and make a folder and call it a day. So this is one of the covers from the other notebooks, and I'm going to use this full sheet and turn it into a folder. I've never done this before quite this way, but it's never seemed too complicated, so I think I'm just gonna go for it without making a practice one. I'm scoring the bottom of the folder. So this is going to be the outside, this is going to be the inside. Ideally, I would have a pattern that's going vertically for the inside, but I guess what I'll do is just maybe cover this up. I don't like the way that it looks when you fold it. It's, you know, how it tears the paper. So I'm just going to do it for the sake of trying it out, but I probably won't. And look at that, it's scored all the way through. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen either. I'm gonna keep going, and maybe I'll put some washi on the bottom or something. I'm not gonna let it worry me. Okay, I'm gonna fold it in half. This should be 11 inches. Yeah, so I'm just gonna score it at half of that, which is 5.5 inches. I think I scored too deeply. That's my problem. I'm pushing down too deep to make the score. I want the folder to be basically the same width as the inserts. So I'm going to score. I'm just using the side of my nail to kind of press down and score it. I'm not going to cut it right here, but I'm going to fold it in. This ripped here, but maybe I'll put some washi or something in here to reinforce that. And then I'm going to do the same folding on the opposite side. So I have the basic bones of the folder, and now I'm going to do some snipping and trimming to get it looking a lot more finished. So the first thing is, when the folder is open, you won't need all this big chunky side here. So I'm going to trim it and leave just about 1 centimeter on the side. So let me go ahead and reinforce this with the washi tape. So the side is going to be folded over like this, and then we won't need these little parts right here, so let's trim these off. Now I want to snip right here and right here, and that'll give me more inside pocket space. Still want to make it look a little bit more finished, so I'm going to cut some angles. So I was trying to find something to go in the inside, because this pattern is bothering me going this way. So I think this will work. And I'm just going to, I'm going to fold it and then basically tuck it in like that. I'm going to put some washi right here to reinforce this. I guess this is the reason why people will tend to laminate their folders and things, because after using them for a while, they start wearing down. But I really don't care for the feel of laminate and plastic in general, so I use it sparingly. I don't even own a laminator, believe it or not. So I'm just gonna put a little removable tape here. Okay, I'm gonna glue these pieces together. Glue here and here, here and here. I didn't cut the edges here, so I'm going to do a little triangle part there too, just a little. And now that it's glued, it's puckering, so I will go ahead and cut in this. And we got that going on, but I'm gonna pretend like I don't care. I didn't end up snipping the triangle corner here, and I think I want to do that just to make it a little bit more finished. It's not necessary, it just, I get the feeling that it would help a little bit, so I'm gonna just snip off just that corner. Definitely would have been better if I had done it from the beginning. It will also help if I was using precision scissors. A little notch. I need to punch a little hole right here in the center so when the strings are pressing on the folder, it won't bend it. So I'm using a thin, I don't know, small hole punch. It's like maybe 4 millimeters. I am not sure. I just found it in my stash. Oops. It's not the best cut, but I think it will do what it's supposed to do. There we go. So you can see it the strand falls into that little notch. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go for 2 more inserts and then I think I'll call it a day. I have this weekly planner that I got at the beginning of the year from Target, and I have been, albeit inconsistently, like recording some of the things that I did that day or that week in here. Then I'm going to use this insert to actually plan things out. This is an insert that I made myself. I have different sizes for it, and so whatever size planner I'm planning in, I just kind of reformat it for that. So I've made it now to A6 size. And it's not even a full like actual booklet, it's just a few weeks worth. So I'm gonna cover this with, now I only have like a little bit of scraps and bags and things left over from the kit. So I'm going to, basically what I'm going to do is take some scrapbook paper and use that as like my actual cover, and then maybe use some of the scraps to decorate or to add a little interest. I'm not going to do a whole lot of decorating. Oh, one more thing. This, if you were lucky enough to find this treasure at the beginning of the year, you may have noticed that it has this clear cover on it, and it's actually the perfect thing that you can use for a dashboard. Now, I will admit I'm not a heavy Traveler's Notebook user yet, so I'm not really into the whole dashboards thing, but I don't know, I'm not sure if I'll keep the cover on, this clear cover on, or make it a separate dashboard. But luckily I have the option to do either one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and decorate these. I remembered that the April Planner Society kit came with some little decorative cards. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot, just a little something to add some interest. So you just saw me struggle with all kinds of things, and the reason why that's happening is, to be honest, I'm not really in a decorating mood lately. For me, when I decorate something to really try to make it pretty, it's kind of, an intuitive process, and if or when I feel like adding some more decor and making it super special, I will. But right now I'm actually trying to make it functional, and so I'm not going to worry about it. Then I decided to put this journaling card on the inside of the sleeve, just so that I can use this plastic for sticky notes or whatnot. One thing I am going to add is some tabs. So the Planner Society kits come with these a bunch of different decorative but functional tabs, and so I know a lot of people don't seem to use tabs for their traveler's notebooks. I don't know, my brain needs tabs. My brain needs something to tell me where exactly it is, so I'm not fumbling through, because that is what I'll do if I don't have anything labeled. So I'm going to figure out which labels I want on each of these, write the names on them. The Planner Society does come with some words that you can use, some clear labels that you can apply, but I am going to write my own so they'll all be consistent. So for this part of the project, I'm going to be using my notes that I have been using to help me set everything up. Of course, the tabs, a pen. This is an illustrated faith pen, the 0.65 tip, and removable tape to adhere the tabs. Okay, I'm gonna come back when all that is done. Before I get too carried away with doing things off camera, let me show you what I have done. I tried just placing the Planner Society tabs on the different inserts, and right away it was just too busy, too many different patterns, and even though everything is like coordinated, it was just too much. I don't know, I just couldn't. So white it is, and I think that's going to work for me for right now, for whatever's going on with my brain. Just having the simple white tabs to help me find what I need to find. And I used the tab punch, and I don't know if you are familiar with this or if you have this. I've come to find out that not everybody uses it the same way, so I'll show you how I use the tab punch. And if you don't have one, I think it is a fabulous tool to own if you're into planners and organizing and stuff. So I cut about, I don't know, what is this, 1.5 inches or so, and then I fold it in half, and then that's going to give me the open closed part. Like, some people just use one layer and then insert that one layer, and maybe, I'm not sure if that's how it was originally meant to be, but to me it just made more sense to do a double layer. And so you put both layers in there with the open part facing in. The closed part goes to wherever the smaller part is, right here. And then when you punch, you have to leave some space at the top, just a tiny bit, so that part will remain closed. So that looks like it is good enough for me. You see that black line? If I do it like that, it's going to punch 2 tabs. I want it to stay together, so I'm giving it just a little space there, and then that gives me a tab that I can close in. So I'll link to one of these, but I think I got mine from Hobby Lobby. So yeah, that's what I did for the tabs. And then the other thing that I did, I removed what little decoration there was from my calendar insert, and then I'm just going to apply that to this cover. And I'm going to be using, I don't know if you noticed before, washi tape. I probably shouldn't use the pretty washi tape, but oh well. I'm just going to use washi tape on the back to adhere it because I don't want to commit. Okay, so this is going to be good enough for me. And then for the tab for this one, I use one colored one just to stand out because this is the main insert that I'll be using every week. And putting them in, I don't know if you noticed before, but I'm actually not putting them on the front cover of the inserts. I'm just leaving those plain, and I'm tucking them onto the first page or so. So I'll put that. I'll put this here. I've got 7 inserts, including the folder. So I'm gonna make a, I don't know what you call it, but it's basically, you can attach 2 inserts together. Okay, camera cut off on me, sorry about that. So basically you just take enough elastic to wrap around 2 notebooks and then tie it together. And then you attach both the notebooks, so find generally the center of both notebooks, and then basically you're attaching the back of one notebook to the front of another, and then it ends up like this. Okay, and then from here you insert this into the single strand in the traveler's notebook. So this little elastic part here, and even though the most important insert will be my planning insert, I'm putting it, I'm not putting it at the very beginning, I'm putting it sort of in the middle so that I'll have a surface to write on it, whether I'm writing on the left or the right side, and that way I won't feel the need to keep taking it out and putting it back in, or taking it out and then not putting it back in. Okay, all tabs are organized. I decided to put the this week one at the top so I can readily access it, and then I went ahead and put a few things inside my folder. For now I just have some note cards and sticky notes and things. I should put some more tape on this. And just FYI, in case somebody is wondering, This is a sticky notepad. It actually comes in several different sizes. It's called Emergent Task Planner. It's better if it's larger, but I just wanted to try out the smaller size. I've had this for a while, and it's a daily planning sheet that helps you prioritize, and it's kind of what I based this on here. So I don't know, I'll link below so you can check it out. This actually was the planner pad that I used that helped me decide that the daily planning system is my favorite. I have this in here so that on occasion, if I want to just grab one of these and do a daily plan, I can do that. I have a separate daily planner, but sometimes it's in another part of the house and I don't bother going to get it, so at least this will be here. I set out wanting to make this a little bit chunky, and I think I achieved that. And I also, I hope, made it basically functional. We will see. I'm going to be using it for another week or so, and then I'll do some updates based on how well it functions for me. And that's it, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you spending your time with me. Make sure you come over to Instagram and say hi at Yes Please Planning. Bye bye.